The Veil. This story takes place in Akka in the late 1800s, early 1900s. The young boy carefully climbed up the stone seawall that wrapped around the old city of Akka. Steadying himself, he stood on the tips of his toes. He anxiously scanned the crowds of people walking through the narrow streets below. The sunlight danced on the red rooftops, and the blazing heat baked the cobbled streets below. Peering through the crowds, the young boy finally spotted his two visitors. He jumped down from the wall and ran towards them. "Thank you for coming," he said breathlessly as he reached Abdu'l-Baha and the doctor. "Please come this way. My uncle is in the building over there." The young boy guided them through a narrow alleyway and opened the wooden door of an old brick building. "He's on the top floor," he said. With a whisper, he added, "Thank you for coming." Abdu'l-Baha and the doctor entered through the creaking door and made their way up the narrow and dirty stairs. The doctor had never been to this building before, nor did he recognize the little boy. "Who is the patient that Abdu'l-Baha has asked me to come and visit?" he wondered. Reaching the top floor, Abdu'l-Baha and the doctor entered a small, dark room. Lying in the corner on a thin and torn mattress was the patient. The moment the doctor saw the patient, he stopped in his tracks. "This must be a mistake," he thought. "This can't be the man that Abdu'l-Baha has asked me to help. He has always been so unkind to Abdu'l-Baha." The doctor remembered how just last month, in front of a large group of people, this man had spoken rudely about Abdu'l-Baha, shouting, "Why do you speak to him? He is a Baha'i." This, even though Abdu'l-Baha had shown only love and kindness towards him. Abdu'l-Baha had even given the man's family food and clothes when they were in need. And now, although this man had shown only unkindness towards Abdu'l-Baha, Abdu'l-Baha again had come to help him, not only with food and money, but with a doctor too. The doctor reluctantly made his way to the sick man lying on the bed. He asked the man how he was feeling, and then asked to take his pulse. The man stretched out his arm. Then, to the shock of the doctor, with his other hand, the man lifted his grey cloak and held it in front of his own face. The doctor could not believe what was happening. Not only has this man shut out his heart to Abdu'l-Baha, but now he's covering his face so that he does not even look at Abdu'l-Baha, thought the doctor aghast. "I cannot bear to see such rudeness shown towards Abdu'l-Baha, especially after all that he has done for this man." Angry with the man, the doctor abruptly got up to leave. Turning towards the door, the doctor expected that Abdu'l-Baha too would leave. However, Abdu'l-Baha did not move. He remained by the man's side. The doctor paused. Abdu'l-Baha is showing only love, he realized. Following Abdu'l-Baha's example, the doctor turned around and slowly made his way back to the man, whose face remained covered by his cloak. The doctor examined him and gave him what was needed to get better. Only then did Abdu'l-Baha and the doctor leave. The doctor never forgot that day. Over the coming years, whenever the doctor would see the man, either in the street or in the market, his heart would fill with sadness. Despite Abdu'l-Baha's constant and untiring love, the man continued to shout rude and unkind words towards him. Whenever the man would see Abdu'l-Baha, Even from across the street, he would cover his face with his cloak so as not to look at Abdu'l-Baha's face. How can a heart be so veiled? The doctor would ask himself sadly. Then, one evening, many years later, the veil was finally lifted. There was a chilly breeze in the air, and the winter sun was getting ready to set. The doctor had just seen his last patient for the day and was slowly making his way home. As he walked up the cobbled street, he noticed someone standing in front of the house of Abdu'l-Baha. He thought he recognized the man, but his eyesight had worsened over the years and he could not make out who it was, especially in the dark. Curious, the doctor moved closer and watched as the man knocked on the door. A minute later, the door opened and the street was flooded with light from the house. "I thought it was him," said the doctor to himself, this time seeing clearly that it was the patient who had covered his face so many years ago. What brings him to Abdu'l-Baha's home? Just at that moment, Abdu'l-Baha came to the door. To the doctor's surprise, the man fell to his knees and started to weep. "Forgive me, sir," he cried. "For 24 years I have done evil to you. For 24 years you have done good to me. Please forgive me." Abdu'l-Baha immediately bade the man to rise, showing him the same love and kindness that he had shown him for the last 24 years. The doctor's heart filled with the light of understanding. "Love," said the doctor to himself. "It can only be love that has caused the veil to finally be lifted."